Welcome to Dyno Pod, episode number 2. On this week's show, we have a very special guest, straight from the Dyno Records roster, David Bucks Buckley, also known as Bucks. For this episode, we sit down with Dave, we have a chat about his ongoing career in the music scene, and also about his release, Incognito. Dave is a very unique and fantastic music producer, and he also performs in the restaurant scene here in Dubai. So without further ado, here is our interview with Dave. Enjoy. All right, Dave, welcome to Dyno Pod. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? It's been a while.
Good, thank you. So Dave is a very talented producer, also goes by the name of 13UXZ. Am I saying it right?
Almost. It's actually Bucks. So my surname's Buckley. I used to have BUXX, but somebody had released under my name. So I had to get creative, and the 13 is actually a B. So it's Bucks for Buckley.
Oh, okay. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
It's good that you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's something I need to think about because, with techno it works quite well because I feel like you've got that creative side to it, but it does confuse a lot of people.
Right. Cool. Good to know. So Dave has released a track on Dyno called Incognito. If you guys haven't heard it already, please go and listen to it. So we're obviously going to talk about the track today, but I want to start off with you as an artist first. So can you tell the listeners about yourself? Who you are as an artist?
Yeah, a little bit about myself. So I've always been quite musical. When I was younger, I kind of grew up in a house. There was always classical music playing. I wasn't really classically trained, and I think I was given lessons, but I didn't really stick to it when I was younger. I was really into my sports as well when I was younger. But as I grew older, I kind of became a little bit more influenced. I had a friend's brother was in a sort of world hip-hop champion street dance group, so I used to go along and learn popping and locking and all sorts of dance, which was fun. I did that for about 5 years, went all over the country competing with that. So that kind of got me into the music side of things. A lot of my friends at the time were DJing, so I used to sit behind the decks with them. They'd always be playing shows all over the country. All of my friends at university kind of got me into the house scene quite young, so I must have been about 17, 18. When I was younger, it was actually very different. So I had influences from R&B, hip-hop, 80s, the usual commercial sounds that you like to hear. So that was kind of where the music started from. And then when I kind of fell out of dance, I decided that I still wanted something that I could pursue. So after going to festivals all over the world, there was one point when I went to a festival called the Gashouder, which is Awakenings Festival. Mm-hmm. And I remember just being completely blown away by it and all the electronic sounds and things that have kind of influenced my sound today. Mm-hmm. So I moved to the UAE when I was about 25, and at 26 I decided, okay, now's my time. I had a little bit of time on my hands, I had some money, so I decided to throw myself head first, not really realising what I was getting myself into. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of all started from there. So I went into Point Blank and I did a music production diploma with them, not realising that it was part of their master's course, and the level was way beyond anything that I'd ever even dreamed about. I always thought, you get some stems and you get some samples and you just throw them on a track, and once you've got an idea you could probably learn it in about 6 months. Boy, was I wrong. So so it all started from there really. It was well above my head, but I gave it my best shot, and I picked up a lot that was probably too advanced for me at the time, but I could remember as I progressed. Mm. So from that's really where it all began, and I took some DJing classes, and I didn't really expect to get anywhere with it. It was kind of just a hobby at the time. Mm-hmm. But me being me, I kind of threw myself in head first, and before I knew it, I was getting to a point where people were saying to me, "Oh, could you do this for me?" or "Could you come and play here?" or and it kind of just all started from there, really. But in terms of, sorry, what was the question again? It was...
Yeah, it's just about yourself.
Yeah.
You're on the right
about
track.
myself. Yeah. So that's kind of where it's all began, where music has kind of taken over a lot of my life these days.
Cool.
And as you know, it's a never-ending rabbit hole that once you dive into, there's always something new to learn. There's always something.
Of course.
It's yeah.
Yeah, the learning never stops.
Yeah, it literally never stops.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into it, and it's been a great experience. It's something that I'm really glad that I took to, and outside of that, I've been a teacher for the past 8 years. So
all right, teaching what exactly?
PE, completely unrelated.
Oh, cool.
So I was a PE teacher. Later on, I also ended up teaching DJing and teaching producing to kids. So I've been doing that for about 2 years, which I stopped recently.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of transferable skills, which was, I took a lot of enjoyment from that.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, it's just led me to all sorts of places that I didn't think that I'd be in. One New Year's Eve, I turned up to a gig which I thought was going to be a quiet one. Turned out there was 25,000 people there. That was definitely not what I was expecting. Very nerve-wracking, but I took to it and I did really well. I've played in mainly restaurants, to be honest. Mainly restaurants in and around Dubai. Luckily, the restaurants that I've been in, the management, I've worked with them for a long time now, so they kind of let me play what I want. But yeah, it's definitely been an experience so far.
Cool. Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
I've obviously heard a lot of your music that you've released on other labels as well, like Cafe de Anatolia and Nova Mova. So you have a very varied sound, I would say, like compared to the ones you've released with other labels and the one you've released with us. So tell me about your influences in music. Like, what are the artists that you grew up loving or you currently love that really inspire you?
I think it's gone in phases. I mean, when I was at university, we used to listen to a lot of tech house. Mm-hmm. So we used to go to Sankey's and we used to go to Fabric in London, and we used to go to all the local events and festivals and sort of your general tech house DJs that were big at the time, talking Martinez Brothers, Hot Since 82, Green Velvet.
Eats Everything.
Eats Everything. They spring to mind. So we had great times with that. Although at the time I felt it was quite saturated. So it wasn't something that I really wanted to pursue when I started. I kind of wanted something that I could put my own stamp on. So it started mainly with tech house. Then I kind of got more into like the melodic side of things. So Joris Vaughan, Solomon, and the lighter stuff, your Ben Bomas, your Anjuna Deep type stuff. I really enjoy that. So that was kind of the direction that I originally wanted to go in. When I first started producing, I kind of nailed on the really heavy underground technos, kind of Amelie Lenz, Sasha, Don Digweed, etc. Because I just looked at it and I thought, well, there's less melodies. If you can put like a rolling bass line in there, make sure you've got plenty of hi-hats, and just it looks like the easiest option to start with. And I'd say it is, and it's the easiest to attempt, but it's one of the hardest to get right because it is quite simple.
Yeah.
The amount of sound design that goes into it to make it interesting is quite difficult. So I started with that, and a lot of the sound design techniques that I picked up from that definitely I still use now, and they carry into a lot of the tracks that I make. I did a lot of masterclasses and courses. I did one with a DJ called Anna. I'm not sure, they have a course, ARIII it's called. Really heavy techno, but it's probably one of the best made courses that I've come across. And another DJ flying Junior Deep called Enama. Yeah. So a lot of the influences kind of come from a lot of the melodic stuff from that side, and the sort of like the driving techno underneath that from what I originally began with. So that's how I began. But living in Dubai and deciding that I wasn't going back to the UK, I quickly found that the scene out here isn't too strong for the really underground, heavy techno kind of tracks. So that as things progressed, I started to decide, okay, let's have a little bit of a look at organic tracks. Let's look at Afro House. Afro House, when I first started DJing, was what I loved to play. And I kind of felt like I found my niche with that. But again, I was quite wrong, because things developed and now everybody's playing Afro House. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of why there's such a range there. I want to be able to produce tracks that I can play when I'm DJing. But I do find that oftentimes I'll be producing a track and I'll just feel like there's not enough energy, and then all of a sudden I'm throwing in loads of these kind of like techno influences, mm-hmm. which I think is kind of where I landed with the track that I released with you.
It was very unique. It was such a unique track, to be honest, and I was hearing influences of Anjuna Deep there, which is also my biggest influence, so I really enjoyed that. And I want to pick out something else from that track which I noticed. I'm not sure if you've done that intentionally, but if you listen closely, it's a very complex track in terms of time signature, because there are instances where it's very hard to count the song. It's almost polyrhythmic. I'm not sure if that was intentional, and that's what attracted me more towards the song, because I'm a big music nerd. I'm also like trained in music and stuff, so these things really excite me. So was that intentional, or did that happen by chance?
With the 303, with the bass line, it was definitely intentional. Though the problem that I have with these tracks is, it's great, you put a 303 down, you have this rolling acid bass line, but if you've got an 8-minute track and that's never changing, mm-hmm. it's really easy to switch off. Yeah. And it might work in an underground club in the middle of London at 4 a.m, but ultimately anywhere else nobody's going to want to listen to it.
Right.
So I did try and switch that up quite a bit, and I spent quite a lot of time on that.
Yeah. It's a great piece of work, for sure.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. So in terms of, again, your music, what's your current direction right now?
To be honest, the current direction right now, I think we're at a stage in the music industry where, unless you're going to throw a lot of money at the marketing, or you have a massive following already on social media through other means, it's very, very difficult to break that kind of the ceiling of where I'm at the moment. I think what's important for me at the moment is to produce when I feel like producing. I went through a period where I'd force myself to produce, and I don't think it produces the best results. Mm-hmm. But B is to try different things and pick up different skills along the way. Mm-hmm. So I'll always have the influences that come in. A lot of the time I'll sit down and I'll say, right, I'm going to do a really chilled out organic track. By the end I've finished it, it sounds like, a lot heavier than I had planned. Yeah. Because I just get bored and I'm like, oh, it needs some energy here, or it needs some energy there. Yeah. So I need to develop that where I can just slow myself down a little bit. I'd like to try some different genres, even if it's, I've thought about doing some disco tracks maybe. But again, I don't think there's too much of a rush. It's mainly do it for me for now, and just build that skill set. I think that there's a lot of producers out there at the moment that kind of, they build their DJ brand, then they think, okay, I've got to produce some tracks. They go and grab a load of stems, they throw it down, and you can't hear their sound in the music because it's not really their music. If they've even produced it, but that's a whole another story. But so I think at the moment it's try some different genres. I'm starting a new day job at the moment, which I'm hoping I'll be able to be quite successful with. And then there's so many DJs and producers right now that they're kind of coming into it in their 40s, some of them even later. And what they've done is they've picked up the skills along the way, and then when they're successful in their own careers, they've got that funding behind them to then go, okay, I'm going to really give this a go and push the marketing. Because I don't see a way of me getting further than where I'm at without that behind me.
It's a very tough business, and you're right, because right now the advantage is in the hand of the person who's willing to spend more than everybody else, unfortunately. And even the music consumer market has changed so drastically from the 90s. Even the mid-2000s. In the mid-2000s, we were still buying CDs, and labels were earning money to be able to spend on artists. But right now, it's come down to the hands of the artists themselves. How much are they willing to spend themselves? And most artists don't have that capability. It's not that easy, and especially when you're in a very saturated market like Dubai, where every other person's a DJ. So it's a tough challenge, but I think at the end of the day, your music is going to separate you out from everyone else. And I also believe everything is in the long game, And I think the fruit of that outcome was going to be sweeter as well. So I think just keep going and just be yourself. And I can hear that in your tracks, your individuality, which is what even me as a curator I look for. We don't want somebody playing the same Hugel or the same Afro house template for their songs. It's boring. It gets boring after a certain point. So it's really good to speak to you in a very quiet setting for a change, because every time I've met you, it's been in a loud place. And I remember meeting you the first time, and it was at Vinyl. It was at Vinyl, and you were showing me your music, and I really appreciated that hustle, and you don't get to see that a lot as well, because again, people just rely on the money. I got music, I'm gonna spend on Spotify packages and Beatport packages and get my track out there. But again, the hustle and the work that you do separates you from the others, so I really appreciate that.
That's nice to hear, thank you.
So you got any other tracks coming out soon?
I have one that's nearly done, and I was ready to send it to labels, and then I thought, okay, just sit on this for a week and come back with fresh ears. And then I came back and I hated it. So there's a few things in there that I definitely want to change, and we'll see about that one. I'm at a point now where it used to take me months, because I used to sit there and I used to program all the drums myself, and there'd be so much sound design, and I'd get stuck on messing with a hi-hat for 4 hours and all the things you do when you first begin. But I'm quite confident I can get a release ready track done in about a week now. So there will be more coming. It's just with the job transition at the moment. I'm not sure. It's, again, like I said, I like to produce when I'm in the zone, so there will be more coming.
I completely believe in that philosophy, because I don't believe as an artist you should industrialize your music or your skill. Yes, if it's your primary source of income, of course, then you switch to the mainstream and churn out tracks. But again, as an artist, the real pleasure comes in when you are in the mood for it. When you sit down and you're in the perfect headspace and you're just making music in a really good state of mind, That's when you make the best stuff as well. So I think that's very important as well. Not to stress yourself or push yourself at the same time. So
and I did that I had a summer off where, because I knew I was changing jobs, I needed to save some money, so I just sat at home making tracks for the whole summer, and that's where this 6 or 7 that have just popped up came from. So I think after that I needed a bit of a break as well, to be honest, just to reset.
Yeah, it takes a toll on you for sure. Yeah, I've been in that place as well. It doesn't get pretty after a certain time. So the last thing I want to speak about is I know you're a resident DJ, so do you want to speak about your gigs and where you're performing?
Yeah, sure. At the moment I'm in 2 restaurants. So one is called Jamavar and one is called Mimi Mayfair in downtown in Dubai. So it's just under the Address residence.
All right.
2 beautiful restaurants. Jamavar, I think, amazing food, it's Michelin star. Mimi Mayfair's more of a party vibe, it's a Chinese restaurant. And they've got a outdoor area overlooking the Burj Khalifa, which is pretty impressive. At the moment that's enough for me. It's Friday, Saturday nights, starting the new job. Any more, to be honest, it would be overkill for me at the moment. But it's nice. I've worked with these guys for a while. They trust me. They let me play what I want to play. So I play some organic, play some Afro house. We have private events. I even end up playing R&B, hip hop, pop on occasion. But yeah, I'm having a good time there at the moment.
Cool.
But nothing too crazy. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, Dave, thank you so much for coming on today's show. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. I wish you all the best for all your future endeavors, and I hope to hear more of your music soon. So if you guys haven't heard Incognito already, please go check it out. It's everywhere. And please do follow Dave Bucks. I'll put all his streaming and Beatport links in the description below. And yes, please do follow his work because he's doing a great job. So do you want to say anything else before we close?
No, just thanks for having me on. And I listened to a few of your tracks. One of them came up on the radio the other day. That was great to hear. And I knew it was you. I was like, okay, that's definitely ARIII's track. And the one that you just released with Lou, love the vocals on that. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
See what you're putting out as well.
Thank you so much. I've actually just restarted my journey after 10 years. I took a 10-year break. So there's a lot to put out there, so it's slowly coming out now. But anyway,
perfect.
More about me later. All right, thank you, Dave. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Take care, and we'll speak soon.
Yes. Bye-bye.